At the beginning, Elon Musk seemed to think that Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, was a good guy. In fact, at one point, Elon Musk tweeted out, "Jack has a pure heart." And then Elon didn't dig deeper into Twitter, at least not initially. But when he released the original Twitter files, and these were the files about the Hunter Biden suppression, the suppression of the laptop, the suppression of the Biden crime racket, the effort to protect Biden before the election and even to some degree after the election, Elon Musk realized to his astonishment that these Twitter files had been handed over to a guy who's been at Twitter. His name is James Baker. He's formerly an FBI guy. And what James Baker was doing was altering these files, apparently, in order to protect the FBI. So even the information being released in a kind of full disclosure to the public was being itself edited by James Baker. And so Elon Musk steps in and fires James Baker, an excellent move. By the way, he needs to go ahead and fire the Perkins Coie law firm, which was hired under the old regime to represent Twitter. So Musk is realizing that you have to clean this place up. It is rat infested, and the rats are kind of everywhere. Obviously, the firing of a whole bunch of Twitter employees, a very good thing, not only because of the people, the bad guys who leave, but the bad guys who remain get the message that they could be next. Now, the latest thing, Twitter Files number 2, being released initially by Barry Weiss, a journalist, and I think also Matt Taibbi, who's going to pick it up with kind of Twitter Files number 3, revealing a systematic pattern of suppression, of shadow banning, of restriction of figures, prominent figures on the right. I'm just waiting to see my own name on the list, but so far, Barry Weiss has disclosed that Charlie Kirk, Dan Bongino, the Stanford professor Jay Bhattacharya, these are guys who had been flagged for to have their reach reduced. Now think about this. You got these Twitter guys, and these guys are basically, little tyrants, little nerds. And who are they banning? They're trying to protect the public from so-called COVID misinformation, and they're banning a professor of medicine and health policy at Stanford University. What do they know that he doesn't know about the subject? Isn't he the expert instead of them? And yet they're acting like, no, we are the real experts, and we're gonna save the public from the malign influence of Jay Bhattacharya. This is just downright absurd. And then as you go through the names of the people being shadow banned, you realize there's not a single Democrat, there's not a single leftist who is getting this kind of treatment. And guess what? Jack Dorsey is in on it. He is perhaps not the initiator, he's not the prime driver. He may be less of a corrupt figure and more of an invertebrate, but either way, he knew and he went along. In other words, he was an enabler of this censorship regime. And the good thing is that Musk is not backing down on this. He is in fact taking the view, which I think is the correct view, that public exposure is the best disinfectant. That if you want reconciliation, you want to come to some sort of middle ground, and of course Musk insists that he is, at the end of the day, a centrist. Nevertheless, Musk says the way to get to reconciliation is not by hiding facts, not by ducking under the table, because one of the Twitter sort of engineers of all these problems, a guy named Yoel. This Yoel guy goes, why is he naming names? Why is he outing us? And by the way, there's dead silence from all these malefactors. Dead silence from Parag Agarwal, dead silence from Vijay Agade. These are all people these are almost like what happened with the Ceausescu regime once they got exposed, once their crimes were out there for the public to see. They just went into complete deep freeze. They went into complete hiding until, of course, the public basically raided Ceausescu and brought him to a really bad end. So more to come on Twitter, but so far I think a massive detoxification going on Twitter. And quite frankly, I've seen my own audience at Twitter just explode. Since Elon Musk took over, 500,000 new followers. Just a few days ago, I was at 2.8 million. I looked this morning, 2.9 million. I've gained 100,000 followers in like 3 days. At this rate, I'm going to be basically at 3 million next week. So this shows you what happens when you're not being restricted, when you're not being banned. It also shows you why the left is so desperate to restrict, to deplatform, to ban, and to censor opponents that they don't want to have to confront or debate.